A very good evening. This is the PNGTV Live News Bulletin. I'm Belinda Cora. NCD Police have been given 10 days commencing today to fully investigate and charge individuals who were involved in the assault of Dr. Dean Warhembari, a training registrar at the Port Moresby General Hospital ENT section. The assault took place last week Saturday, involving officers from the PNG Defence Force, with the assaulted doctor able to still identify those who were involved in his attack. The call for this investigation to be fast-tracked is spearheaded by the executive members of the National Doctors Association, who have demanded, amongst others, that the main suspect and 5 others be dealt with accordingly and brought to court. They have also demanded that the PNG Defence Force assist in apprehending the 5 soldiers and have them handed over to police to be dealt with. Failure to do so would result in a stop work by ENT members at the Port Moresby General Hospital, including NDA members nationwide. Following a quick meeting amongst the 3 parties this afternoon, it was clear that urgent action will be taken, with the first being the main suspect, who was believed to have been brought in this afternoon to the Boroko Police Station. The actions of the soldiers has left 1 doctor severely injured.
Appropriate actions will be taken once the investigation is complete. As you heard from the MedSup, the suspect will be brought in this afternoon. This matter will include both the military and the civil court of law. The service member is now under the custody of the military police at the 1st Royal Pacific Islands Regiment.
Representing 600 members of the NDA, President Dr. James Naipao says the time frame of having this case investigated comes as a result of past incidents.
Police, the case dealing with CIs, a case dealing with police, or a case dealing with military, where it comes and then slowly it dies down. All right? We wouldn't want such thing to happen.
Mr. Naipao has also reminded those in attendance of the role of medical professionals nationwide.
But I think, generally speaking, doctors and health workers are there to save life, prolong life, and cure life. Right? They are not there to kill life. Right? I think that the person that is involved, I think he had a plan to. I take the ENT doctors at Palm Zone, which I am, I'm the lead man there.
Secretary Dr. Sam Yokopua says these attacks on innocent civilians need to end.
And I think it is important that we need to put these to rest once and for all. Some of us are involved with the Joint Security Task Force, and I'm the medical commander in the Joint Security Task Force. And I've put it in our work group, WhatsApp group and Facebook group, that we are prepared to support the rest of the colleagues and withdraw from the involvements and stuff like that.
Captain Polewara confirmed that the main suspect has been detained in military custody, while the PNG Defence Force will fully cooperate with police investigations to bring in the rest of the officers who are believed to be involved. NCD Metso Pero Endrano says currently investigations are ongoing.
As I'm speaking, we have referred the case from one area of investigation to the other so that we can speed up the case on that particular incident. I'm grateful that the commander is already directed his people to work on the case on a military court, and they will be assisting us as well in the criminal court as well.
Baraka Primary School in the Central Province will have a new 2-story double classroom built over the next 4 months at a cost of 1 million kina. The school was the first education infrastructure project for the Digital Foundation back in 2008, with the upgrade of the classroom part of the foundation's 10th anniversary celebrations. Gregory Avira with this report.
A billboard containing an artist impression of the soon-to-be-built classroom is unveiled. This is followed by a groundbreaking ceremony to mark the start of construction for the foundation's first ever two-story double classroom to be built entirely of steel. Opened back in 1959, the Baraka Primary School has graduated many students, many of whom have gone on to become prominent people for the country. Digicel PNG Foundation Chief Executive Beatrice Mauru, while launching the project, encouraged students to take their education seriously. She also issued a challenge to the school and community to ensure effective learning takes place for the good of the students.
You got to make sure that the children that come into this class go out educated, whole human beings who can contribute to nation building.
Being a village-based school, many parents depend on the sale of betel nut, fish and other cash crops to fund their children's education. Digicel PNG Foundation Chairman Dauveri Enau, who comes from the village, says many parents in the past struggled to meet the needs of funding their children's education. But with more people getting better educated, Enau says it is time people move away from such commodities to fund their children's education.
Make this your generation to be the only generation selling fish and betel nut to educate these kids. And children, you get educated so that you don't sell betel nut and fish for your children. And this school here, this classroom that we're going to build, this is your opportunity to have that.
With work set to take place over the coming 4 months, students have been shifted down to the church hall where they will have classes.
The new construction that is coming up now, we have now moved down to the church hall, the United Church Hall. It's quite a big space, so we brought down all our classes from grade 3 to grade 6, while our grade 7 and 8 classes will go over to occupy the current elementary classroom. Until the work is completed, then that is when we will come back to our locations again. So that will go on for another 4 months or so.
Once completed, the building will have cost 1 million kina, which includes 160 desks, blackboards, solar-powered lighting, and a water and sanitation health component consisting of toilets, showers, and water tanks. Gregoria Vira, PNG TV Live.
The late Air Nuigin Pilot, Captain Vincent Kipma, was no ordinary pilot. These were the words of Prime Minister Peter ONeill in a statement made today towards the sudden passing of the captain last week. The Prime Minister says he was shocked and saddened by the passing of the young pilot who leaves behind wife Brenda Lynn and 6 children. He says the late captain took lead in ensuring the safety and comfort of leaders while airborne was of utmost importance. He added that for the past year, Captain Kipma regularly flew government delegations, including the Prime Minister, State Minister, and MPs of Parliament, and ensured they arrived safely at their destination. Captain Kipma was said to show leadership when proudly flying the VIP Falcon jet with important dignitaries in PNG and abroad. The Prime Minister says his death is seen as a loss to the government, Air Niugini, the aviation industry, his colleagues and his family. He says Captain Kipma's service will surely be missed. You're watching PNGTV Live News Bulletin. More after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching PNGTV Live News Bulletin. Governor-General of Papua New Guinea, His Excellency Grand Chief Sir Bob Deadeye, has sworn in new members of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. The new members includes the Speaker of Parliament, Job Pomat, member representing the Prime Minister, and MP Elias Kapavore, member representing Opposition, and MP Ian Lingstaki, Justice Stephen Kasman, representing the Chief Justice, Ravo Vagi, representing the Department of Personnel Management, Mary Morola, member representing Labour and Industrial Relations, and Simon Pentano, representing the Bougainville Executive. Members of the SRC that have already been sworn into office are Prime Minister Peter ONeill, Chief Justice Salamoa Injia, and Secretary of the Department of Personnel Management, John Cully. Police in Manus are now investigating an arson incident that occurred at a 70-man refugee camp at Hillside in Manus Province on Sunday, the 20th of May. The incident involved a non-refugee from Irian believed to have been drunk and set fire to the camp at about 3 p.m. on Sunday. Quintin and I met with this update.
The fire was set in the lounge room where he was sleeping and spread out quickly. Quick response and intervention by Paladin and Kingfisher Security with NKW Holdings workers and police managed to put out the fire, which prevented the building from burning to the ground. Provincial Police Commander David Yapu confirms evidence of illegal import items and alcohol was found at scene. PPC Yapu questioned why the refugees were permitted to take those items into the camp without security check. When police went to arrest the suspect refugee yesterday, he smashed a glass of another building and sustained injuries to his hand and taken to Loringau General Hospital for medical treatment. PPC Yapu instructed the police mobile squad 17 to monitor his condition at the hospital, and when discharged, he will be taken to police station to be charged for damaging property and attempted arson. Yapu says no one is above the law and wants the refugees to behave themselves and respect the state property of the law of PNG, otherwise they will find themselves behind bars. Quintin Anaime, PNGTV.
Consumer watchdog, the Independent Consumer and Competition Commission, or ICCC, has granted authorization to allow the proposed merger of Telecom PNG Limited and PNG Datacore Limited to proceed. Quintin and I met with this update.
Kumul Consolidated Holdings Limited and Telecom jointly applied to the ICCC for authorization to proceed with the proposed merger. The application was lodged on April 5, 2017. KCHL also applied for clearance together with the authorization application, but subsequently withdrew it. As a result, the review of the authorization application did not proceed until the 30th of January 2018, when KCHL formally advised the ICCC to recommence the assessment of its authorization application. ICCC Commissioner Paulus Ayn reveals the proposed merger has been carefully considered and conducted through a transparent consultation process by seeking the views and comments from industry participants, stakeholders, and the public.
One, the ICCC has considered that the proposed merger will affect the following markets. And in our view, the market for the provision of international data transmission and the domestic data transmission.
In terms of the likely effects of competition, Ayn highlights ICCC considers Datacore can be a sustainable and effective competitor in the future.
But in a long term, if sufficient investment is done to it, then over time it can become one of a good competitor in the industry. But then we are eliminating a potential competitor in the potential market going forward.
Merger and Acquisition Competitive Market Manager Emmanuel Aro says both Telecom and Datacore have now until May 2019 to complete transition in line with the ICCC Act. ICCC is working with telecommunication industry regulator NICTA to ensure appropriate conditions are imposed to ensure access to essential infrastructures are readily available to potential new entrants. Quintin Anaime, PNGTV Live.
You're watching PNGTV Live News Bulletin. More after these messages. Welcome back. You're watching PNGTV Live News Bulletin. As a member of APEC and host of this year's Leaders Summit, Papua New Guinea is in deep discussions with the United States on a broad range of economic issues. U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary for Australia and New Zealand and the Pacific Islands, Ambassador for APEC Matthew J. Matthews, highlighted this in a conference call with journalists throughout the Pacific Islands region yesterday. Quintin Anaime with this report.
The United States is looking to see quality infrastructure development as a critical element of the work it will do, along with connectivity to continue to expand trade in the region. Ambassador Matthews explains the United States is deeply involved in the economic development of the region.
and 9 of our top export markets in the world are within APEC. And within the Pacific, we're looking for opportunities to expand economic engagement as well. And I think over the coming year or two, we hope to begin some trade investment discussions with various Pacific Island countries.
Ambassador Matthews adds the U.S. is looking for opportunities to expand economic engagement within the Pacific. It is in the process of enhancing security, economic, and people-to-people ties with the Pacific Islands to ensure that the Pacific remains free and open for a rapid and effective development for the people. Ambassador Matthews says engagement with Papua New Guinea will continue, and the increased focus on infrastructure and the desire to get private sector participants involved will be there as well.
An increased focus on infrastructure and the desire to get private sector participants involved will be there as well. We'll be coordinating with other operators in the region, other donors in the region, including Japan, Australia, New Zealand on this, and hopefully India too, on this broader Indo-Pacific framework.
The U.S. is a leading donor to the Green Climate Fund, which it has contributed $1 billion to and has helped ensure that 10% of the funding that has been distributed so far has gone to the Pacific Islands.
USAID is also working to ensure that Pacific Island countries understand and have easy access to the Green Climate Fund as well.
The U.S. continues to be one of the top development partners, providing more than $350 million in project assistance and operations that directly benefit 9 million people in the region in 2017. Ambassador Matthews reveals the U.S. values its participation in the Pacific Islands Forum last year. He says the U.S. had a great post-forum dialogue interaction, including a special dialogue with policy members including Fiji and Papua New Guinea and a lot of other members of the Pacific Islands Forum. Quintina Naime, PNGTV Live.
South Pacific Brewery, or SP Brewery, today announced its naming rights sponsorship of the 2018 National Mask Festival, which will be held in Kokopo in July. The Mask Festival was initially introduced in 1995 and is staged as an annual national event to promote the unique mask cultures of East New Britain Province. On board with the Export Lager this year, the committee anticipates that participants from all over the country will be attending. Florida Gulaseni with this update.
Export Lager, a brand under the SP Brewery, is culturally grounded to where it is born and brewed in Papua New Guinea for more than 30 years. Devoted to giving back to the people by supporting cultural events and initiatives, SP Brewery's marketing manager Joss Wheeler says they're proud to be part of this year's festival.
It's an important way to encourage young adults to embrace and respect their unique and special cultures, and use this as a connection and uniqueness to stand out as they strive for a better future. We'll be launching the 2018 South Pacific Export National Mask Festival with a gala dinner on June 15th, and we as SP Brewery and Export encourage the wider business community to get behind the event and support it as one of our national icons and one of the great cultural festivals in Papua New Guinea.
The festival will be a 3-day extravaganza of cultural dancing, ritual performances, display, storytelling and exchange with a variety of arts and craft on display. National Mask Festival Committee Chairman Isaac Ilom says the 2018 National Mask Festival will mark the 24th anniversary of the event and takes place, and it is a cultural tribute to the people of East New Britain, the Tolai, Baining, Pomio and Sulka people.
It's an initiative from the government. The government trying to put in this program because government is like him by culture, you one place, can die. I need a national cultural commission. Government empowering all long make sure this event only must stand up inside long country.
Deputy Chairman of the festival, Tiola Mwawaga, added that the festival did not have so much support over the years, but now with Export Lager on board, they are looking forward to stage an unforgettable festival.
The idea was a national government initiative through the National Cultural Commission. Unfortunately, they've not been very supportive, maybe because they're not getting the funding, and that trickles down to us who runs the committee. So this experience has not been only for the last few years.
Wawaga thanked SP Brewery for their generosity and called on provincial governments to participate by sending a group from their provinces to participate in the show and to specifically showcase to the world our beautiful cultures and traditions. Florida Gulaseni, PNGTV Live.
The Port Moresby Arts Theatre is set to stage its latest musical starting this Thursday, which will run until June on selected dates. The cast and production crew have been rehearsing for the past 6 weeks for the musical title Sincerely Me. Gregory Avera attended the final dress rehearsal stage last night and files this report.
With just 1 day remaining, the cast and crew of the musical Sincerely Me are all ready to stage their production. The musical tells the story of a lonely teenage boy who finds himself caught up in a web.
With better understanding and better resource for what we may not have had growing up. And so anytime you read a script that is going to touch the lives of young people, I think we all kind of gravitate towards that. And so this storyline with social media and what you see on Instagram is not always what's happening in real life. And how does that journey, how does that look? How does that work? You know.
Our friendship goes beyond your average kind of fun.
We found we'd heard the music online, and we loved the songs. Firstly, that was what sort of grabbed us initially, sort of the upbeat and fantastic songs like you've heard a few of them tonight. And really, I think that was that. And then we found out about the story and sort of modified it and made it applicable to today and in Port Moresby and Papua New Guinea in particular. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so again, it spoke to us, and that's why we decided to put it on now.
The official opening of the Specialized Expert System for Agro-Meteorological Early Warning Training took place today at the National Weather Service office, seeing over 20 participants from different organizations throughout the country come in to register for the 3-day training program. The director of the National Weather Service, Samuel Maiha, says the new system is an innovative step to contribute to weather information based on crop livestock management strategies and operations dedicated to enhancing crop production. Florida Golaseni with this update.
The training, initiated by the Department of Agriculture and Livestock in partnership with the Food and Agriculture Organization and the Regional Integrated Multi-Hazard Early Warning System, is aimed at developing national capacity for generating and utilizing relevant agrometeorological information. Maya says agriculture is heavily reliant on the weather, and the uncertainties with climate pose a major threat on food security in the country, and this must not be ignored.
You are the most important people that the government needs to give priority to in its efforts to widen the economic base of this country. And I think all of us are aware of the challenges that we are going through now. And in going forward, we also, in the weather service, we are also recognizing the need to go from science to service.
The training is strategic and is in line with the Food and Agriculture Organization priorities to strengthen resilience for food security and nutrition through the use of relevant tools and protocols. Head of Food and Agriculture Organization Office Papua New Guinea, Ken Shimizu, says they are keen in delivering this critical capacity development needed for PNG through the partnership.
Identified priority ICT solutions to be piloted and implemented. One output that we have under this project and also in line with the strategy is to kind of enhance the role of the Department of Agriculture and Livestock in serving as a clearinghouse for information on agriculture sector.
He added that the learning opportunity will be crucial for PNG to better equip institutions and the government in the preparedness for prevailing natural disasters resulting from the country's global positioning.
Communities that have relied on traditional knowledge of farming are finding that, the business as usual is no longer applicable, and they need to get smarter. So here's where we can come in. We work across globally also and within the region to assist rural communities by supporting the delivery of actionable agriculture-related advisory services.
Maya added that through the partnership, Food and Agriculture Organization is supporting the government of Papua New Guinea to integrate and use the ICT in its agriculture plans and strategies, and also in the context FAO has supported the government in preparing its national e-agriculture strategy. Florida Gulaseni, PNGTV Live.
And to news within the region, there were celebrations outside the High Court in Fiji today as the Fiji Times Limited and all its staff of the newsroom came out with a verdict of not guilty for sedition charges. Those accused included publisher Hank Arts, its contributor, editor-in-chief, and Nai Lalakai editor Anare Ravula. It was alleged that Fiji Times printed the Lalakai newspaper, which contained an article which had content with a seditious intention to promote feelings of ill will and hostility between classes of the population. The judge had ruled that the prosecution had failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the Nai Lalakai article was seditious in nature. And that's where we end the news for this evening. More at 7 p.m. tomorrow. From myself and the news team, it's good night.